Film Club.
You're like shotgun midgets from Borderlands.
What shotgun midgets from Borderlands?
Oh, mate, you must see him.
Thank you very much for joining this episode of Film Club. I am one of your hosts, Andy Harrison. To my right, as always, is my shotgun midget, Andy Donaldson.
Nah, not really, but go on.
Every single week in Film Club, we invite you along to watch a film with us. We dive into cinema's best, but coming back here to talk it out. Andy, we haven't done this for so long.
No, we've both been away.
We've been away. Although, to you guys, it's going to feel like just a week because we did not miss an episode.
No.
What have we been watching, though, this week?
This week, that was last week, we were watching a streetcar called Desire.
Named. Called. Personified as Desire.
Sorry.
What
you're
is...
absolutely right, I get that mixed up. A streetcar named Desire.
What is a streetcar named Desire all about?
It's his sister that comes to visit her sister. Some girl comes to visit her sister in New Orleans who's with her new husband, Stanley. And it's about them living together. She doesn't get along with Stanley. And it's about her spiraling thing down into mental instability.
Mm-hmm. So...
I didn't know what the fuck I was going to when I watched this.
With Streetcar named Desire, we haven't discussed this beforehand. I think the only pitch I gave you for it was like, it's Marlon Brando.
Yes.
What did you think? Because I'm aware you watched this after a rough weekend.
Yes.
And then you sat through this. So how do you feel about A Streetcar Named Desire?
I thought it was all right. I thought the acting was absolutely superb, and I think that's the main thing to pick up from this film. The acting, especially from her, is fucking absolutely sensational. Despite that, as a story in itself, I think actually the subject matter, until I think the first half, I was a bit like it just suffers from me for that like an old film quality. The reason I didn't watch old films, like the classic that is an old film as well, it's not a classic that I'll remember. But then towards the end, when I actually realised that she has mental instability, I think, fucking hell, for that subject matter at that age, that's pretty impressive.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
I was at the end, I still was like meh about the whole thing. It's all right. For me, it's an all right film. But I think at the end, it's much better than it is towards the start. And I think if it wasn't for her and Brando, I'm going to get her name up here.
Yeah, I mean, we just got halfway through.
Vivian Leigh,
who absolutely knocks out the park. But I have to say, halfway through this, I was enjoying it. But in the back of my head, I was aware the weekend you'd had. And I was thinking, he's going to kill me for this. But by the end...
It wasn't too bad.
By the end, I was like, oh no, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I see what you mean, like the first half. So you're at the point where I'm at thinking...
It starts out like a real...
It's almost a bit slow.
It's almost a bottle drama. You know, like a bottle episode in TV.
Go on.
Where bottle episodes where the entire thing takes place in like one room. Or
like The
an
Fly,
existing
Breaking
set.
Bad, The Fly.
The Fly, perfect, yeah.
When the writer's
feels
block.
almost like that. It almost, to me, it reminded me, if we go back a couple Film Club episodes, quite a few Film Club episodes, Glengarry Glen Ross.
I was going to say that because it's based off a play. So this film's notoriously based off a play, as is Glengarry Glen Ross. All in one scenario, you need it in one kind of environment. So you need them, obviously a lot of dialogue on this, very, dialogue heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got the same thing, like walking up here, I was thinking, yeah, it reminds me of Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yep, absolutely. And it's important to mention, I think, that it was a stage play of this that really kind of lit the world on fire. It wasn't so much the film. The film did very, very well. But
which one came first?
It was the play. The play came first. The play is the thing that won the Pulitzer Award for its writing. And it was also the play where originally Marlon Brando was cast.
Yeah, so everyone from the play was cast apart from the person who plays Blanche, Vivian Leigh. Is that correct?
Oh, I didn't know everyone else was as well.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone. I remember when I was reading it before, there was a little description on the site I was watching that, and it said, blah, 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 it's based off the play, everyone but Vivian Leigh.
That makes sense. I mean, because she definitely feels like a bit more of a classical film actress.
Yes.
But very, very well put into place.
Yeah.
Film actress. But the thing that kind of contrasts that as so immensely well in this, I think the standout moment, I think the reason this film still gets talked about in a lot of ways, and the play, again, don't take anything away from the play for people who love the theatrical performance of it. This was a lot of people's introduction to method acting. And whereas you have Vivian, Leigh?
Yeah.
Whereas you have her who is personifying the old school method of acting, the very sort of open, a bit more flamboyant way of acting.
Yeah.
It's a bit more theatrical, even though it's for film.
That's exactly what I took from it.
And like that plays, again, wonderfully into her role. She's cast perfectly for this.
Yep.
Marlon Brando introduced everybody to method acting.
So go on, right? So explain to me what method acting is. I hear it all the time. I've researched it multiple times what it is, but my mind's gone blank.
So method acting basically boils down to the idea that actors draw on their own experiences and emotions in order to portray something deeper.
Yeah.
The idea of getting into the psychology of a character and not just kind of acting out from a script. This often leads into slightly darker, more negative characters. Like he is in this.
Yes.
He's kind of disillusioned with people. He's not a particularly pleasant guy, but he feels far more three-dimensional than she does.
Yes, I would agree there. I mean, are we looking at method acting? Are we looking... Nah, I was thinking of some examples and I can't think of any. Can you give us some examples?
The majority of acting today is method acting.
Ah, fair play. Fair play.
I mean, there'll still be people out there who don't do method acting, but for the most part, when it appeared, people were kind of blown away by this much more real, natural feeling performance. Method acting is a sort of acting which lets people mumble their lines a little bit, step over others, like repeat words, like how people do in natural speech.
Yeah.
So method acting was.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Whereas classic film, classic theatrical acting,
Is that very scripted?
you had to get every word as it was written in the script.
Which is
you would like stand on your mark, and then you would walk over to your second mark, and you deliver your lines on your second mark before walking back to your original mark. Method acting was much more like you bumble around a little bit, you kind of fluff up a little, but it's all natural, feels real.
It was a perfect contrast because if you look at her, Blanche, the way she goes and she waltzes from one place to the other whilst doing a spin, while she's talking like almost poetically about this, whilst trying to be like acting to be this.
She even says it at the end when she says, "I try to bring people magic. I try to portray magic more. Don't turn the lights on."
Yeah, well played. And there's that part. Then she suddenly changes, and then is that when she's becoming like? Obviously, she's becoming a bit. You can see her face, and then I don't know how they've done it. She looks older.
Oh, with the lighting.
Yeah.
I think at that point they removed the filters as well. This is shot in kind of a classic film whereby a lot of soft filters in front of the lens. Like she has kind of a glow about her when she's on camera. It was done a lot for actresses back then. But I think in that particular scene they remove a lot.
That's pretty impressive. That they've done
nice
that.
way of
It's
doing
quite
it,
technical. And then you obviously got the contrast, which is Brando, he's literally like smashing everything. He's shouting. And there's that part where he's almost like mocking it at the end when she's like having a proper like breakdown sort of thing.
But the most impressive thing, right, about this is Brando is, as a character, he's unlikable, he's sexist, he's abusive.
Yep.
But in the context of this narrative, you kind of like him. And I think it's because of Marlon Brando's
shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's Marlon Brando because at his core, he doesn't. His primary true north is that he doesn't like people who lie.
Yeah.
Period. And he gets annoyed when people lie. Yes, he goes too far. But
Quite
when he's
far.
on screen, you kind of feel his energy more than hers. A lot of people connect to him more so than they connect to her.
I connected to neither. I connected to poor Stella.
I thought you were going to connect to Mitch, the lonely boy who'll
No, with
die on his own.
With Stella, she's the one that's caught in the middle of it all.
Yeah,
She's got like an abusive husband, and then she's got a sister who's losing her mind. I just thought, poor girl, like...
But she gets herself into that sometimes.
Yes, she does. She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, Stanley, I'm sorry."
Yeah, but she also enjoys it somewhat. And perfect example is one of my favourite moments in the film.
When he calls her out on it.
When he's downstairs from their neighbour and he's calling her name out and he's ripped his top. And she comes out from their neighbour's house and slowly walks down the stairs towards him. No one says anything. They just kind of like have this understanding, broken relationship, but they both enjoy that relationship.
Even he says, I'm sure he says that to her just before the final scene is when he says, what happened to us before she came, started drinking all the drink. Me and you, yes, we'd have these fights, but we'd always be great together. We'd love each other. So, that's something he's saying there. She's the one I connect to. But I think with him, as you mentioned, he's a dick.
Yep.
And with her, I feel a bit bad at this. Like at the start, I was fucking annoyed by her. I thought she was talking about herself. She's almost like narcissistic. She's very like selfish. She's always like, "Oh, do I not look good?" And everything is revolving around her. I'm like, for fuck's sake, fuck off, please. Just just fuck off. If you're supposed to be like the protagonist of this, I'm just not feeling it.
Yeah.
And this is part of the reason I think maybe it was like one of those classics like that. Again, the theatrical aspect of it as well is something that was a bit put off by. But then obviously you actually come to the end and you realise that it's like quite deep in the sense that yes, she's theatrical, but that kind of displays the character as you mentioned, but also the fact that oh Christ, what was I saying? I've just lost my fucking trail of thought.
I agree that when she turns up originally, she's kind of shrill in some ways. She's overly flirtatious, and she's using kind of her feminine wiles while knowing that she's using a lot of that.
Yeah, that's it. And that's where I remember. It's the fact that she goes into, you actually realise that she has like mental health issues.
Yes.
Which is why you suddenly go from fucking hell, she's annoying to, oh shit, actually there's underlying themes behind this, and maybe you should take a step back and like take her with a pinch of salt. Yes, it's a shame, and yes, she could be annoying, but like, is it the character's fault? Or, you know, they did the right thing in the end, obviously getting the doctor.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, right before that happens, the thing that pushes her over the edge, you have one of those almost iconic rape scenes where Brando goes too far, and it's just one. It's almost funny enough. Was it last week we did Reservoir Dogs, and you know we didn't quite touch it properly, but with the ear, where the guy he's cutting the guy's ear off, the police officer's ear off, and the camera just turns away. We get a similar effect here, where Brando goes in with this sort of like sexual aggression, and then the camera just, I think it tracks into a mirror or something, and it just tracks away from them.
And the mirror breaks because she hits the glass.
And then when you come back, that's when she's completely lost it.
What do you reckon then? I think that's what I like about it. I didn't know what to take from it, whether or not he actually touched her, because he says the guy later, I didn't touch her at all. Why would you say that if you like just put more into your head?
So I think it's supposed to be kind of left a little bit ambiguous.
I think it's done it well.
To me, I think the way everything wraps up at the end and the way people are reacting, I think it's clearly happened.
Or hence her reason, Stella's reason, going, I'm never touching you again.
Exactly. Stella's reason being like, will never happen again, which, I'm sorry, they're getting back together. They're just like, it's this destructive cycle.
She runs away upstairs.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, you need to go down those stairs to get out the gate. Yeah.
Because you've seen that seeded earlier on with their neighbours, where the neighbour storms out and she's like, I'm never coming back.
True.
And the guy goes after her and brings her back later on. It's clearly there's this atmosphere of destructive relationships. But the one thing which...
I'm trying to not FaceTime. Go on. I just want to like mention one thing. It's where obviously we like went over and we're on about Stella. Kim Hunter was Stella. I just want to like just put a name out there. There's no point in going, oh, she was fantastic without saying a name.
Yeah, I mean, everyone, like you said, everyone in this film is fantastic. The casting is absolutely nailed. I mean, it is an actor's film. It's a film which lives and dies on its script and its actors.
Like Glengarry Glen Ross.
And this feels like a adaptation of a theatre play. Definitely feels like that. Not in a bad way, because they expand it a little more. The actual original play took place just in their apartment, apparently. Whereas this expands it a little bit more.
Oh, when they go on the date with Mitch.
Yep. They nip out to like the odd couple of places, but they always bring it back to the apartment.
Yeah.
The one thing you get from that, though, which I thoroughly enjoy about this, is every time you're both inside that apartment and outside that apartment, the atmosphere, you can feel the heat.
Yeah.
Everyone feels like sweaty, and you almost like there's almost this sexual tension in moments where there shouldn't be sexual tension.
I'm thinking that, I mean, there were some weird scenes when, I don't know if this is just how it was, but like the way she is towards the start with Stanley.
Yep.
But then there was, I don't know if it was just me, there was a part where she's like looking at her sister, and I'm thinking, what the fuck? Why? I don't know if that's just how they were, but that's too close. Like, maybe it's just me, I don't like personal space invaders. No, like...
I think the purpose is just that it's supposed to make people feel this sort of like the summer heat is just making them go a little bit stir crazy.
Like Elvis or something. Go away, fuck off. So you're a fucking wanker.
Like it's supposed to be this summer heat is making everybody go crazy and mental. It's pushing them a little bit too far, a little bit outside their comfort zones, a little bit to a point of breaking, and you see what happens when one particular person breaks, or when multiple people break in some ways.
So with regards to her backstory, do you reckon that she did have a husband that passed away, or do you reckon that's all made up as well?
I'm tempted to say that's the real bit.
And that's what's broke her.
Yeah, or at least started her off on this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there has to be a nugget of truth in some of it.
Well, yeah, she had like a fairly promiscuous background by the sounds of it. So maybe all those times, maybe even broken heart, stuff like that, that's led to a downfall. Or maybe it's the fact that she already had it that led to her promiscuity. Promiscuity? It's not really. They mean like flaunting her fucking fanny everywhere.
Flaunting her fanny everywhere? Can that be the subtitle of this film now? A streetcar named Desire, flaunting your fanny everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Prime example. We're talking about this weird sort of sexual tension everywhere.
Yeah.
The name of the film is A Streetcar Named Desire. She gets taken to this place by a streetcar that is named with the word desire. Like, it's clear that they have this sort of sexuality running throughout the city. New Orleans, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
I just, like, for me,
interestingly, New Orleans is a place. It's supposed to be a lovely place, but it's also a place where one can seek desire. You go down the street, our mate's dad was telling us, and you have these flower things, and if they give one to you, it's like the prostitutes that give them, but it's all like kind of under the key.
It's beads, isn't it? You think of Mardi Gras?
Yeah, it could be. I can't remember, but our mate's dad was saying, he was like, he went down there, and all the lads going, oh, come on here, just get loads of flowers, and you give them to a girl, and then they go into a place, and I was just like, okay, fair play.
So, for me, this is a film which is amazing performances through and through. Did something very important for film as a moving and acting art form forwards. Oozes atmosphere isn't necessarily engaging throughout.
No, the first half of the film does take a while to like kind of like get through. You have to like kind of push through, as with any kind of classic of that kind of my feeling, those kind of classics. I never watched classics when I was younger, and this is why I like doing film clubs. I'm actually starting to watch really good classics. It's not something like you have with It's a Wonderful Life, Seven Samurai, with other classics watch, maybe like Great Escape, stuff like that. They're all like, throughout the film, you're like proper in there. I mean, even something like It's a Wonderful Life, you're completely different film, but you through and through that film, you're involved.
Yeah, this definitely hasn't aged as well, I guess, but there's not a great deal going for it. If you want to see the beginning of, going against it. If you want to see the beginning of Marlon Brando's career, this is a great place to start, especially if you're into theatre and you want to see how theatre is adapted to film. Again, wonderful place to start. So that was A Streetcar Named Desire. You can let us know in the comments below what you thought of A Streetcar Named Desire, or you can hit us up on Twitter, as always. We'll be back once again next week, where in celebration of Ocean's 8 coming out, we're going to be taking a look at Ocean's 11, the 2001 version.
I'm not too sure, but
not the 1950s version.
We get to see the amazing accent that is Don Cheadle's London accent.
I'm looking forward to it.
Have you not seen it before?
I saw it back when it came out.
Oh, seriously, just listen to Don Cheadle. Even he said himself, fuck me. Or as he says, fuck me.
So if you're ready to watch Don Cheadle, you can get watching. Join us back here next week, where we're going to talk it out once again. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. See you then.